Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, we're going to be doing a random hypnosis session based on destination, emotions, nouns, and the language pattern cards. Most of you will have already seen this kind of structure before, so I'm not going to repeat that, but I am going to share my screen for those people watching on YouTube so you can see where the randomness comes from. So let's have a look here. So I don't even know how to pronounce this. Swakopmund, Namibia. So let's have a little bit of information about this. So Swakopmund, known as Swakop in Namibia, is the country's biggest coastal town and a resort for Namibians on holiday. The city's German origins are quite pronounced in a beautiful old German colonial buildings throughout the city, making an even starker contrast for this town sitting at the edge of the Namib deserts. It's like a German North Sea town with an African flair. So that's a very unusual and interesting kind of place. I can see here there's a road locomotive that's been abandoned. There are lots of kind of there's lots of sea life here, beaches, things like that around. So it does look a very kind of fascinating place by the coast. An interesting town. So the random emotions, these are going to be interesting. Sorrow and confusion. So sorrow, obviously another kind of synonym for sadness. Confusion, I think we did a recent one around bewilderment. So again, a variation of that. And then we've got the three nouns, which are technology, fill, and traffic. So technology might be technology metaphors we can tap into there. Fill, as in fill something up rather than empty. And traffic, obviously, normally meaning busy, not just that there is traffic, but if people say I'm stuck in traffic, it normally represents busyness. So we've got the emotions, we've got the nouns, and we've got the location. So the locals call this place Swakop in Namibia. So we're going to use this as a backdrop, and let's stop sharing the screen now. And then the hypnotic language card from the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy. I'm just going to shuffle this and randomly cut the cards. And then the top card here, 10 of diamonds, how slowly. So it says here, when things are rocketing along very fast and you still have a lot of time left in a hypnotherapy session, this pattern can take things down to a more manageable speed. Example, how slowly and ecologically will you comfortably breathe as all the change sets in? Now, what's interesting here is that we're going to use this phrase, how slowly, while I have my 15-minute sand timer here. So there is an element of urgency, but I'm going to use the phrase, how slowly, throughout this hypnosis session. So we get to bring different hypnotic language into each one of these sessions. So if you're listening to this to actually experience the hypnosis session, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax and enjoy the session. take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of tension or stress to leave your body in your outward breath. That's right. Breathing in continued feelings of relaxation, and if it's safe to do so, now on this outward breath, how slowly are you able to close those eyes? And in doing so, when they finally close, notice that you are able to access deeper levels of relaxation than ever before. And the deeper relaxed you are physically, the more able your mind is able to focus on my words. And in doing so, my words become a catalyst to influence your thoughts. Thoughts can be words, but thoughts can also be images and ideas. As your physical body relaxes, don't be surprised if you start to imagine different places. And I wonder if you've ever been to Africa. I wonder if you've ever been to the African coast. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine there on the southwest coast, above South Africa, there on the coast, you can imagine just to the left of the Namib desert, there in the country of Namibia, a resort town known to locals as Swakopmund. I want you to imagine that there you are in this town, and you're struck by the unusual architecture of this town. I want you to imagine that this town is on the coast, and you can look out on the ocean and see incredible things. This place almost looks European, almost German. German colonial buildings, and yet here you are in this African town. I want you to imagine walking towards the beach. And what's interesting is there on the beach you can see camels. Perhaps you've never seen a camel on a beach before, but here in this town, in Namibia, that's exactly what you see. And imagine there you are, on the beach, looking at those camels. And you can see the camels just walking through the sand, just as you walk through the sand, perhaps feeling your feet on the sand, feeling the warmth of the sand. And I want you to notice how slowly the waves are breaking on the shore. These aren't big heavy waves, these are slow waves, giving you a sense of relaxation and tranquility. And as you look up at the sky, it's blue skies, but there's a few fluffy white clouds. And you notice how slowly the fluffy white clouds drift, indicating a lack of wind in the sky. I want you to get a sense here in this place, that you are far away from any problems, any stresses, any concerns. And I want you to imagine that you can just lie there on the sand. Perhaps there's a towel or a blanket, positioning your body in a way to make you feel deeply relaxed. That's right. And as I count down from 5 to 1, I want you to imagine what it would be like to fall asleep there on that beach. 5, taking a deep breath in through your nose and exhaling any remaining tension. 4, enabling your whole body to go deeper and deeper. Relaxed. That's right. 3, as you breathe in and breathe out, just notice that your arms and legs feel heavier and heavier. And 2, effortless now as your neck, shoulders, everything just relaxes. And 1, just imagine falling asleep there on that beach on the coast of Namibia. Now, that's it. Deeper and deeper. Relaxed. And in doing so, I want you to access deeper parts of your subconscious mind. I want you to get a sense that what exists in your subconscious mind has a purpose. I want you to imagine that thoughts in your mind are almost like traffic down busy streets. Imagine the neural circuitry of your brain, those neural pathways, are almost like roads and streets in a busy city. Some streets are going to be congested, full of traffic, and others are going to be empty, where a car could simply go down the street without any obstacles whatsoever. I want you to imagine that the role of technology has meant that things that used to serve a purpose are no longer required. It wasn't so long ago that someone might need a map to navigate a city that they didn't know very well. And yet now technology has meant that something like sat-navs, GPS, apps on phones can enable someone not just to navigate around a town or city that they don't know, but also to avoid the congested places where there's traffic jams and obstacles. I want you to get a sense that if your own thoughts are like traffic in a busy city, there'll be certain traffic jams inside your mind where you make very little progress, and other areas where thoughts flow freely without resistance. And what if we were able to introduce new technology? When satellite navigation was created, it wasn't an overnight process where suddenly everyone went from using maps to using sat-navs. How slowly did it take place? Well, it took place gradually, over time. Some people eager to try out new technology. Other people comfortable using their old strategies in reading a map. But then over time, as the technology improved, fewer and fewer people relied on paper-based maps, and more people relied on some kind of technology to navigate that city. And here you are in this trance-like state, and I wonder, what if we took away the congestion around those congested thoughts? Sometimes we get stuck on certain emotions. Confusion, for example, means that while we feel confused, we make very little progress. And yet confusion itself can help break a pattern if you're certain about something that doesn't serve you. If you are certain that you can't do something, or certain that you will fail, sometimes the feeling of confusion can be a useful way to allow the possibility of a new route, a new way of navigating those areas. And sometimes we experience sadness. And whenever we have that thought, whenever we think it, we feel sorrow, we feel sadness. But what if you were able to think of that same memory, but from a slightly different perspective, enabling you to acknowledge whatever has happened, but take something of value from that moment that actually enriches your life. If it's a person, maybe they taught you something. If it's a loss, maybe you can acknowledge the contribution that came before you lost that thing or that person. But I want you to imagine that now we are installing sat-nav for your brain, almost like an application or software for your brain that can enable you to fill the gaps in your own thinking, to organize the traffic of your own thoughts in a way to take the pressure off those congested parts of your mind and thinking and move them to different areas of your mind where you have more resources and more capacity. And in doing so, what if you're able to think differently about these moments of confusion and sorrow in such a way that confusion is just traffic lights, not permanently red, but changing from red to amber to green to enable you to learn whatever is necessary to then finally make progress? And what if sorrow within your mind is naturally just one location on the journey towards gratitude or wisdom? I want you to create an image in your mind of what your sat-nav would look like for your own mind. I want you to picture it as the latest technology. Sat-navs have the ability of perspective. What can't be seen from the street can be seen from above, from satellites way, way above. And imagine this technology for your mind. You can see the bird's eye perspective, the macro perspective, not bogged down in any one particular thought or moment, but can see the big picture to enable you to confuse those parts of your mind that have been blocked, to create the opportunity to evolve your thinking so that you get more clarity in the areas where you need it. Is it possible to drive through heavy traffic if you're confused about which way to go? You can't go left and right at exactly the same time. So decisions need to take place. And I wonder how much easier it would be if you could trust your unconscious to help you with some of these decisions. And I wonder how slowly the integration of this new technology will take place. Some people adapt to change very well, and other people adjust in a more slow way. How slowly does it take for sorrow to finally give way to an emotion perhaps like wisdom, gratitude, or perhaps insight? And the more you think, the more it's possible for you to look at things differently in a way that helps improve the quality of your life. And then you realize that this is just your imagination toying with the idea that your mind is like a city and your neural pathways are like streets and roads and your thoughts are like vehicles. But actually there you are, just lying on a beach, there in a coastal town in the African country of Namibia. Imagine getting up off that blanket, that towel, and walking towards the sea, but any sorrow has been converted to hope and optimism. Confusion has evolved naturally, slowly, towards clarity and a sense of confidence. And anything that was depleted of a particular resource that you needed is now starting to fill, topping up your reserves, recharging your batteries, giving you the ability to have more and do more and experience life in a way that enables less sorrow and less confusion and more joy and more clarity. And then you realize even the beach itself is just your mind on a journey. And actually, you're listening to my voice right now firmly in the present. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. And very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, motivated, that your thoughts now have a system of organization so that you can think clearer, more usefully, reducing overwhelm and giving you a sense of getting to your destination of thinking quicker than ever before. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.
Okay, thanks for listening to that. Just a bit of analysis from my side. I think a metaphor of thinking like traffic could actually be useful. And I think a lot of people, the moment that thinking gets too difficult, they almost decide to give up on their journey. But sometimes the most valuable thoughts and thinking that you can do are where the thinking requires more effort or perhaps a different route. So if you were really stuck in a traffic jam or if there was a roadblock in your thinking, then being able to take a detour in real life means that you can still get to your destination, even if it takes longer than you think. That's also possible in thinking. I think it's Einstein, but a lot of Einstein's quotes are misattributed to him. But I think he has a quote which is, you can't expect to solve a problem with the same thinking that got you to that problem to begin with. So therefore, a different approach is needed. So that metaphor of having almost like this resource that has more like a higher level of wisdom and perspective to help find different routes to a destination that can actually arrive at decisions or evaluations could be very useful indeed. I hope you found this session useful. If you have any thoughts, observations, comments, please put them in the comments below. And if you can like and perhaps subscribe to the channel, that will help find a bigger audience. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.